Our top story tonight on Gravitas is about China's secret missile intercept against India. You heard that right. Sometime in August, China conducted a missile intercept test near the Indian border. The test was part of a live-fire drill, basically involving surface-to-air missile operations in the Karakoram Plateau. What's surprising is that the test took place on the day Indian and Chinese officials engaged in diplomatic talks over long-standing border issues. Now, some might ask, what is up with this duplicity? But to many, this is not surprising. If the secret missile intercept operation was meant to send a message to India, it has succeeded. It clearly shows that China cannot be trusted in a way. Here's what else you need to know. According to the Chinese media, China's People's Liberation Army, Xinjiang Military District, which is responsible for the Chinese side of the border in the western region, conducted the live-fire drills. During the drills, a subsonic cruise missile was successfully intercepted at an altitude of 5,300 meters, that's 17,390 feet, for the first time. The drill basically showed that the interceptor missile was stable as well as effective, even in harsh conditions. Now, the specific location of the test has not been disclosed, nor is it known when the test took place, but analysts do say that the proximity of the test to the Indian border suggests that it was part of a deterrence strategy. But here's the kicker. According to Chinese state media, China conducted the missile intercept test on the same day as the 31st meeting between China and India on border affairs in Beijing. And during the meeting, they agreed to strengthen dialogue and maintain peace along the border. 2 weeks later, during talks in St. Petersburg, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and the Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval agreed to work together to create the conditions needed to improve bilateral ties. You see, China and India share a disputed border known as the Line of Actual Control, LAC. It spans approximately 3,488 kilometers. In fact, the conflict in the Himalayas has been a major point of contention in the relationship for a while now. Tensions escalated in the year 2020 during a standoff, resulting in the first deadly clash between the two sides in at least 45 years. Despite diplomatic engagement since then, India has remained on high alert at the border. That's because while China talks of peace, it has increased its troop presence and military infrastructure in the region, leading to concerns about potential for a full-scale conflict. Of course, India has also bolstered its military presence and infrastructure along the border. The latest updates indicate that both sides are working towards a potential resolution that considers respective military positions along the LAC prior to April 2020. This involves exploring ways to address disputes in Arunachal Pradesh, an area of contention in the eastern sector of the border. Now, for India, this could result in regaining access to important patrolling points along the LAC in Ladakh, which had been blocked either by Chinese forces or through establishment of buffer zones in previous disengagement agreements. This follows the 31st round of talks between China and India, which was held on the 29th of August in Beijing. But the recent reports of a missile intercept test dash hopes in a way of progress. According to Chinese experts, the People's Liberation Army, PLA, has been testing weapons and equipment since 2020 amid tensions along the frontier with India. The latest test, they say, was consistent with this practice and aimed to convey a deterrent message. This message suggests that to avoid war, one must first possess the capability to fight. You see, despite the signs of easing tensions this year, China has resumed provocative activities. It's important to note here that the 2020 standoff, which led to the ongoing tensions, was triggered by China's secret encroachments into India's northernmost territory of Ladakh just before the reopening of the Himalayan access routes after the harsh winter. According to Chinese military commentators, the Chinese military test could be seen as a guarantee of strength to support talks between India and China. The goal of the test was to intercept all incoming targets, whether they are subsonic or hypersonic missiles. They say that negotiations without that guarantee of strength are unlikely to actually produce results. That China secretly conducted missile intercept tests will surely raise concerns in New Delhi. After all, it has significant implications for regional security. It basically tells us that China is actively enhancing its military capabilities, focusing on creating a more sophisticated arsenal, one that improves its lethality and effectiveness. According to Indian experts, the timing of the test, that it came amid the peace talks between the two sides, suggests that India could be compelled to accelerate its own military capabilities. It is abundantly clear that China is aggressively strengthening its forward military positions. It is constructing permanent defenses and infrastructure along the border. And their actions indicate that they have no intention of returning to their peacetime locations anytime soon. While there may be some progress in political diplomatic talks, the defense establishment is keenly aware of the high trust deficit on the ground with the Chinese army. Consequently, India is moving forward vigorously with preparations and maintaining its forward deployment of troops for the 5th successive winter. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.